We are seeing live images at this hour of Caracas, Venezuela, where President Nicolás Maduro is participating in a massive march in the capital of Venezuela as part of the closing campaign of the Great Patriotic Pole ahead of these elections, these massive elections, these mega elections that are going to take place next May 25th on Sunday. The president is being supported by millions of Venezuelans who are taking the streets at this hour in the capital ahead of these elections that are going to be crucial for the path, for the future of the country. Let's recall that on May 25th, there will be another significant day for political life in Venezuela. The nation is holding regional and legislative elections that have been described as a mega election. This is due to the amount of positions at stake in its political significance. Let's recall 21 million citizens will be able to elect the governors for 24 states, including for the very first time in Venezuela's history for the territory of the Guyana Essequiba. Also, there are going to be parliamentarians who are going to be elected. This is going to be crucial for the path of the country, for the decisions that the country is going to face for the upcoming years, and how it is going to shape Venezuela's relations, not just among Venezuelans, but also with the relations of Venezuela with Latin America and the rest of the world. We are bringing you live images at this moment. The President Nicolás Maduro is heading this massive march. We can see the joy, the accompaniment that the people is providing to the country, to the Great Patriotic Pole, ahead of these massive elections that are going to be crucial amid a context of uncertainty regarding this massive hatred campaign promoted by the United States towards Venezuela, towards Venezuelan migrants, also this massive economic warfare that is carrying out against the country. This is a moment, a historical moment for Venezuela as well, along with the great victory that the President Nicolás Maduro is providing since the elections of July 2024. This is a crucial moment for Venezuelans, a moment in which over 21 million citizens are going to go to the polls to elect the governors of 24 states in the country, also the members of the parliament that are going to rule, to provide the rules that the country is going to perform for the coming years. We can see the president leading the march, where thousands of Venezuelans are taken to the streets of Caracas at this hour to support this closing campaign ahead of these mega elections in the country, in a process that hasn't been easy for Venezuela in its way, in its path to defend democracy in the country, in a context in which the country has been facing several intentions, attempts to undermine the democracy in Venezuela, with the far right intending to halt this process and also to commit attacks against the democracy in Venezuela, against the leaders of the country. Recently, we've seen how the authorities of Venezuela foiled a plan against this process that the country is taking care of, and also how the far right intended to attack health centers, energy sector facilities, also these in an attempt to destabilize precisely the social life in Venezuela, which is at peace, and also in an attempt to undermine this democratic process that is taking place in the country, that is also has its side in empowering, in strengthening the people's power in the country, in a process that is not new for Venezuelans. It's taking years since the arrival to power in the early 2000s and 1999 of Commander Hugo Chavez, and also in a task that has been inherited and moved forward by President Nicolas Maduro. This is a crucial moment for Venezuela, that do not want to revive the violence lived over the past years, promoted by the far right in an attempt to shift the political course of Venezuela in a context in which it seeks by any means to overthrow the democratically elected government of President Nicolas Maduro. We can see images of Commander Hugo Chavez in the back of the crowd. We can see flags, we can see joy, we can see colors. The people is on the streets at this moment, accompanying President Nicolas Maduro in this moment in a crucial way to demonstrate, to prove that the people is alongside the government, is willing to make this process, this democratic process, towards in a way that the country can build the future it wants for itself, and not the one that the far right tries to impose on Venezuela. By any means, as we mentioned recently, the Minister of Interior, Justice and Peace, Diosdado Cabello, referred to the foil plan that was intended to pursue a destabilizing moment for Venezuelans, with armed actions, with violence against several institutions of the country that warranty safety, also against health sectors in the country. And this is a moment in which the people is saying no to those intentions to shift Venezuela towards a path of violence. People do not want violence again. People do not want marimbas again. People do not want a Guaidó no more. This is a moment in which Venezuela is going the opposite way that it wanted to go during the 2015 National Assembly, that tried to undermine Venezuela's constitution and democracy process in the country. This is a moment in which Venezuelans want to keep building a country from the communes, from the communal circuits, with the people, for the people. This is a moment in which this is not just about the government of President Nicolas Maduro, but all that the government is promoting from the 7 transformations plan in the country. This is a moment in which the people is seeing for themselves how they can build with their own resources the future that they want for themselves. The communities, how can be embellished, how can be developed from inside the community. So this is a moment of to demonstrate, to prove that Venezuela, first of all, the government is not alone. Venezuela also is not alone. We could see how the President Nicolas Maduro also offered a tour recently through Russia, and how the people of Russia, overwhelmed of emotions and respect to the President Nicolas Maduro, and also which is means that Venezuela is respected, is a dignified country, and is very important in the struggle, in keep fighting against fascism, especially now more than ever, as the world turned 80 years, mark 80 years of the victory over fascism and Nazism by the Soviet Union. Recently, a ceremony that President Nicolas Maduro participated in, and also Venezuela and President Nicolas Maduro went there carrying the flag of freedom and carrying the flag of fight against fascism. Venezuela is at this moment the epicenter of the fight against fascism internationally, and is a dignified people that wants to build the future by themselves, by itself, and not the one that has been trying to impose by the far right, and also allies from the United States and other Western countries and leaders of the far right in the region. Let's recall that Venezuela is heading for these mega elections next Sunday, May 25th, with a process that has been widely observed throughout the past few months and also has been corroborated. All the technical infrastructure is being set. Let's recall that there are over 15,000 polling centers in the country that are going to open their doors from very early in the morning on Sunday, May 25th. And all citizens, over 21 million citizens, are called to participate in these mega elections that for the very first time is going to choose a governor from the Guyana Essequiba territory, despite the attempts by the Guyanese government and its Western allies to halt, to create obstacles for the people not to go to the polls. This is not going to be possible, and this is a moment of reaffirmation. The people is going to the polls because they believe in this project, believe in the project that President Nicolás Maduro is carrying out. And also we can see the President Nicolás Maduro is being part of this massive march in this moment in Venezuela, in Caracas, Venezuela. He is dressed in blue, and also we can see how the people is joining him, and he asked photos from him and salute him with respect. President Nicolás Maduro is not alone. The people is demonstrating this at this moment. Let's once again recall, this is a crucial moment for Venezuelans. Why? Because the people is going to choose the members of the parliament that are going to be crucial for the decision making in the country in terms of legal aspects. Also, people is going to the polls also to elect the governors of the over 20 states of Venezuela, including the Guyana Essequiba. This is a political moment, a crucial moment for politics in Venezuela, and also to the right that Venezuela has to defend its sovereignty, to defend its right to a legitimate territory that has been stolen in a centuries-old problem and issue that hasn't been solved due to the interest of the Western powers in this territory that is rich in oil and other minerals. And that is why the Guyanese government is trying to halt these elections to take place in this territory, in which the country already ratified that it belongs to Venezuela in a referendum, in a popular referendum that